totally gonna steal your style right there.
You're gonna take those?
Yeah.
Well, the only version I've been able to find online are like they make like a circular version and they're rainbow.
Oh.
Oh,
So instead of like the color pattern, it's
Yeah.
the rainbow like stripes.
that's pretty cool.
I like your shape though.
Yeah, no, me too. I've been trying to find this shape, but in the rainbow color because they look awesome. They look insane.
I like how they're big. That's what I always have a problem finding glasses because I have a big weird nose. So like I have such a hard time finding sunglasses that like look cool.
My nose isn't big; it's just thick.
Mine is thick and big, and it's like crooked, so it's just the whole thing.
Yeah, I have like a mix between my mom's Filipino and my dad's white, so mine's like a mix. It doesn't look like either of theirs. Yeah, it's
I've
weird.
got like Puerto Rican and Italian, so like I kind of feel that, you know,
Yeah.
like just the very ambiguous nose,
Yeah, it's always a task to find
ethnically
sunglasses.
ambiguous.
So if you find something that you like, you just have to keep going with it.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
sucks that you
Yeah.
can't find those anymore.
Well, I'm glad that I haven't lost this pair because, like, you know, people have been like, yo, let me buy these. I'm like, no,
Yes.
no way.
I love them, but you know, our one of our friends that does a lot of our awesome stuff. He designed the Olympic winter suits, and he also designed sunglasses. So I
Wow.
think you guys should collaborate.
That'd be
Yeah.
sick. I would love to do like Slushii glitter colored glasses.
That would be so
Yes.
rad.
It'd be super cool.
I think that people would be way into that.
Oscar.
You have to get really creative with
Yeah.
with your merchandise nowadays. I would imagine,
dude, I low key want to be like the Elton John of like EDM kind of with the fashion because I feel like with my hair I can just go like as crazy as I want and
Yeah.
nobody even like second guesses it just because, you know, they know that I'm just
that's just your
You're
style.
genius.
that guy. you
That's
know?
amazing. So you grew up in New Jersey?
Yes.
Tell me about growing up in New Jersey.
I mean, I grew up in South Jersey, so like really close to Philadelphia.
Okay.
A lot of sunsets, a lot of great sunsets. Clear nights, like you can see the stars super clearly. Which
wow.
you know, I think living in the area that I lived in kind of inspired a lot of my early music.
Really?
Just because of just my surroundings, you know. But you know, I had a pretty simple, introverted
Yeah.
upbringing and everything. You know, not too many crazy upbringing issues or anything, but it's interesting. I wasn't the cool guy in high school, which was a thing, which is, it is what it is.
Same.
A lot of people just peak in high school, so you
I
show
peaked
them.
after high school.
Yeah, that's what matters.
You could show them. So you grew up in Jersey. When did you start getting into music?
Well, I mean, I've kind of been into music for as long as I can remember. I had this I think a friend of mine had this karaoke machine at their house that had this echo effect. That
Oh,
would
like
just
a
like a
reverb?
reverb
Yeah.
echo, and I would just start screaming into it and would rip the echo all the way up, and that was my first experience with just any kind
messing
of
around.
music, anything, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in probably the end of middle school, I made a Reverb Nation page,
Really?
way back in the day. And,
Oh, okay.
me and my best friend Andy, who I think might be coming to some of the shows in the tour.
Nice.
We were like, yeah, let's start a group, whatever. I wrote out song names, even though I didn't even know how to play an instrument yet.
Oh, but you already had song titles?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I was super ambitious since the very start,
Yeah.
and we had a band name, we had an album name, and we had we were gonna call ourselves the Electric Society.
That's cool.
And now I have the Slushii Society, which is kind of a mini callback to my very first musical endeavor
Yeah.
ever, which didn't even end up becoming anything.
So you guys just had the name and the songs
Yeah.
and the crew. You didn't have
Yeah.
you didn't put anything out or write anything?
Yeah, well, because I mean, after that, maybe a year after that, I met a guy named Max who I went to high school with, and we started a band. And I played guitar and I sang, and he played guitar, and I met a bunch of my other current like really good friends now through that band, and you know, we were in that band for probably like 2 to 3 years, and then
what was that band called?
It's called Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Yeah, it was all like edgy and like
What did you guys sound like?
Like, well, because I sing on a lot of my tracks now, so like take Slushii sound, strip all the electronics from it, and just put like a hard rock, you know, The Doors, Beatles kind of
cool
vibe, you know, to it.
Yeah.
Can we listen to those? Are they somewhere?
Unfortunately, our album, we recorded an album and it's on iTunes.
Oh,
really?
awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Unfortunately for you guys, it's horrible. I think I was like probably 13 or 14 at the time.
Okay,
and it's bad. It's like it's horrible.
I doubt it because you have a really good voice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but back then it was like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, you know, but I like that time in a band was amazing, just to kind of, you know, learn the ropes of you know, making music and everything like that. And then I ended up, you know, I was always into like Dance Dance Revolution.
Yes,
oh,
me
cool.
too.
Yeah, she was like
I
way
had
into
formats.
Dude, okay.
Yeah.
So we would always go to my mom's friend's house. And they were the like you know, I was never able to afford a PlayStation 2 when it came out or anything like you know, I would always get the generation before just because we were super low middle class or whatever. So like I was playing like Crash Bandicoot and Twisted Metal and like all these games like 10 years after they came out.
Oh, okay.
You know, so like my mom's friends' sons had a PS2 and they had Dance Dance Revolution Extreme 2. And I just remember like I'd always, because my mom is a like she was a freestyle R&B dance singer in the 90s.
Wow.
Really?
But I always was just like, oh no, dance music sucks. Like what? Like dance music's lame. You know, just because like my mom did it.
Yeah.
And I was just no, mom said like she'd always be like, you know, it's cool, and I'd be like, stop trying to like, it's not cool. But they were playing Dance Dance Revolution, and something about the trancey melodies and everything, just like I was like, what is this? This is awesome. And then for Christmas that same year, my mom got me a PS2, and then I ended up getting DDR. So then I had the Mat too, and that was just the beginning of like, you know, of my love for dance music. And I feel like I kind of had to just kind of figure it out for myself that it was cool, you know, like I had my own clicking moment of like, this is amazing. Like this is awesome. But then from there, I know I'm giving my whole like life story.
No, that's what we we love that.
So I was in the band that okay, so I'm trying to like timeline all this. So the DDR stuff happened probably when I was like 10 or 11.
Okay.
So that like started this seed of like the dance music thing.
Sure.
It was just always in the back of my head, you know. There was a site called Newgrounds, which was like a big Flash audio site back in like 2006 or 2007.
Okay.
And they had an audio portal, which had a lot of, you know, techno and trance and stuff like that. And I just stumbled upon it one day, and I just went down the list and just listened to like everything. And I was like, this is insane. Like I've never heard any kind of music like this, because before all that, I was super into the Beatles and like Pink Floyd and like rock music and stuff like that. And I was, just listening to whatever was like on or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we actually didn't even end up getting internet until I was like probably 14.
Oh wow.
So no, we I think we had like DSL.
Okay.
So we had like LimeWire, and like, you know, that was back when we were just like downloading stuff on LimeWire.
Yeah.
But I downloaded a lot of those songs on LimeWire, and then from Newgrounds audio portal, I downloaded a lot of the first, you know, I actually still have a lot of the first dance songs I ever listened to.
Wow.
On my computer to this day.
That's really cool.
Just because I've tried to make it a point to, you know, ever since I was young, I've always tried to like archive like everything. So I have my first on this laptop. I actually have my first production I ever made.
Really?
Back in like 2011.
Okay.
No one's heard it.
Oh my gosh.
I have all of my OG productions. I wrote 3 albums by myself, just playing guitar and playing keys and stuff like that, starting off. And I have probably about 100 to 200 songs that I created under my last alias before Slushii.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are those the songs that were on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of my old alias was DJ Swoon, but it went through probably 3 different incarnations before it became DJ Swoon.
Oh, okay.
It was Swoon first.
So you had your band, and then you got into electronic music. And then you went to then you became Swoon.
So I was in the band. Everything was going great.
Do you guys playing gigs and stuff?
Yeah. So we would do gigs at like VFW, like veterans halls and stuff, because they'd have like little like pop punk nights or whatever. And we were kind of like the instrumentation was super like old style, but my vocals kind of brought like a newer kind of like twist to it. So we were kind of a little bit marketable to that crowd, Well,
your vocals, even in the Slushii songs, I was telling Tara, I'm like, it sounds like that mid 2000s like pop punk like emo sound.
We love it.
Which I love. Yeah. So, and then I was like, oh, he's from Jersey. That kind of makes sense. There's like a lot of those bands from Jersey.
Tons.
Like your band had that sound
just
at the time.
weird flair to it.
Sure.
And so we would play shows. We did Battle of the Bands in high school.
Okay.
And we won.
Oh wow.
Which was cool.
That is really cool.
And then one day I was just on YouTube, just scrolling around, and one of the trending videos or trending things was Skrillex.
Okay.
And I was like, what is that? So I just click on it and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. I thought Skrillex was a genre first.
Oh, right.
Like it's dubstep, but I thought Skrillex was like a genre of music. So I was like, I need to hear more of this Skrillex music. This is crazy. So then I ended up just going down a rabbit hole of like finding Nero and finding like Rusko and all these like old dubstep guys. And it was like somebody had taken like. I like to think of my love for dance music as like 2 sides. DDR was kind of one half of the circle, and it was like just a love for it, just like this is kind of cool, but like, and then once Skrillex happened, it was like the circle's completed. Like this is what I want to do.
Oh wow,
that was like
so when you found Skrillex, you're like, okay, this is gonna be my passion. I'm going forward. It was full force with this.
I remember the day. I
really?
Literally, like, I was going down that rabbit hole, and like I would try to show my mom whatever I was listening to, and she'd always be like, "Yeah, this is cool, this is whatever." And I play this for her, and she's like, "What is there? There's no way this is ever going to become popular ever." I was like, "But this is so weird and cool," Like I thought it was just like because I mean for a lot of people my age and that my generation that I'm in, like. It was cool to like find something new and find something that was just so like our generation had kind of claimed that.
Yeah, it was something to grasp onto. Yeah,
but like just that kind of just snowballed into me downloading FL Studio and just trying to recreate all of his productions and stuff, and just eventually learning about software plugins. I quit my band because I figured I quit my band before I'd heard Skrillex because I wanted to do all the band stuff on my own, because there was stuff that I was writing that was like it just the band couldn't play it, and it was well, I'll just record it myself, because I know how it sounds in my head, and that's how I started to learn how to kind of throw whatever was on my brain onto a computer.
Sure. And were you playing guitar in the band, or what instrument?
Like rhythm guitar. Like the lead guitarist was the guy that was like shredding and soloing. And
yeah.
I was like keeping the rhythm and singing at the same time.
Okay.
But yeah. So then that started the progression of like, just where we are now. Which
right.
is like just weird.
Well, you have a similar story to Skrillex if you look at it, because he was in a emo band, and then he branched off and started doing his own thing, and it just kind of blew up for him there.
It's crazy, and it's crazy too, because they were like they were like touring too.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, they were like signed to a label,
doing the
and
Warped Tour and stuff like that.
Big.
You know, I was like local up until Slushii.
Okay.
Like completely. I remember booking a DJ Swoon show in my hometown on a Sunday night. Nobody showed up, and that night I called my mom. I was like, I'm not doing music anymore. I'm gonna quit. Like, you know, and this was probably when I was like 16, and that was before I was even like, you know, I'd even kind of come into my own as a producer.
Sure.
But I feel like a lot of younger producers always have that mentality of like, I'm ready right now.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but I was just like young, and I, you know, well, not to say that I'm not still young, but I was younger.
Yeah.
And that just like, it broke my spirits for a good few hours, because I was like, oh my God, like, this is my one chance, you know, and nobody showed up, you know, whatever. But it was a Sunday night, like nobody who knew who the heck I was, you know. And it was whatever. It was, you know, I moved past it, obviously.
Yeah. You just kept going.
But yeah, so I mean, that's and then from there on, just is me producing music throughout high school. You know, I'd kind of always been the antisocial kid. I didn't really talk to anybody, which was why I was kind of like labeled as like the weird guy, you know, which is what it is, you know. Like I actually ended up going back to my high school after all this stuff happened, and just kind of preaching to the kids that like, hey, like I was I was that
that's
guy,
awesome.
you know, just because like I know how it feels, you know, to be that guy, and to, you know, just like, I think part of the reasons why I'm doing Slushii now is just so I can kind of like prevent it from happening to the next generation. Because it's like I say at the end of every show, like, you know, you can look like me, you can, you know, be from wherever you know, it just doesn't matter, and you can do whatever you want as long as you like believe you can do it. Because everybody in my hometown and whatever just wanted me to fail, and you know,
and you showed them.
You know, although I was, you know, by senior year I had been voted. It's crazy, because senior year I was voted most likely to become famous, and most likely to be like most musical.
Wow.
Really?
So by senior year I had kind of turned it around, but like saw freshman to like junior year I hadn't talked to anybody. But then I became kind of the school DJ, and then it started to like, I had a small like, you know, a small following, and then that just like, you know, it was one of those like, oh, well, who do you think is gonna take off?
But that's pretty cool. That, I mean,
it's in my yearbook. Like,
that's crazy.
Weird to go back and like read that, you know? But it's cool.
They were right on.
Would you play school dances? Like, would you DJ at the dances?
So I think what spawned that is I ended up DJing at my prom.
Oh, okay.
So there was a DJ there, and I had a teacher, Miss Kane. Shout out Miss Kane. She was. I think she did history. I don't remember. It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
But she basically was the head of the seniors that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was the plug, and like asked the DJ beforehand if I could come on and just do stuff for a few minutes, and I DJ'd my prom for like probably 5 to 10 minutes, and that moment was like where everybody was like, oh, I guess he's all right, you know?
Yeah.
But like it's very bittersweet that like it took that long, and it was that moment that kind of got everybody to kind of, you know, because I was so scared, you know, but it my thing is that it sometimes you have to take that risk and because do that leap of faith.
What if you wouldn't have done that? You know,
I probably wouldn't have gotten the drive to do it. You know, because I DJing in front of that many people, I'd never even at the prom. I'd never done anything like that before.
I was gonna say that was probably the biggest room you had played to.
Mm-hmm. But it was that was you know, an awesome moment, you know, where it was just like it was like a movie moment, you know, where my entire high school career I was just kind of a wallflower, you know, not saying much. And then, you know, prom, I'm like, you know, it would be kind of sick if I could like, you know, because I did all the, you know, all the benefits and stuff for the school, you know, for for free, you know, just to kind of get my name out there and get experience. And yeah.
Yeah, and that's a huge risk too, because you're going in front of all of your peers,
my entire
Yeah,
class,
your whole class, everybody
the biggest
there.
like moment in high school.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And then that's just an amazing story.
So thank you, Miss Kane, for hooking that up.
Yes,
that
thank you, Miss Kane.
Amazing. It's funny. I actually saw her last time I went back to school. You know, and I remember senior year, she was like, when you win a Grammy, you better thank me in your speech and everything. You know, it was just like all the teachers kind of rooted for me because, you know, I was very open with the teachers because I feel like I was kind of at the time super mature. Just I was to myself, but I was very, you know, like I am now, just very like, you know, I felt more comfortable talking to the teachers and stuff like that, you know,
of course.
But around younger people or people my age, I was just like, you know, like, oh God, you know, very just because like in my mind, it was like, well, teachers can't really judge me, I guess, you know, where the student body, it's just like a completely different story.
Yeah. The teachers would have better intentions than probably the kids in your class or whatever.
Yep. But it did have a music teacher. I did horribly in school, but I had a music teacher. I aced all my music classes, and he was the one that really was like, you know, if you like, because I was kind of a slacker in high school too. But with music, you know, it was the one thing that I was passionate about, you know, and it was the one thing that I've always wanted to do. And he was really one of the ones that was instrumental in like actually, you know, bringing me up because, you know, for all the events, I needed a speaker and I needed like all this other stuff. And I'd always be like, hey, you know, his name's Mr. Nick. I was like, Mr. Nick, please, can I borrow a speaker? And he'd always be like, no. And then the day of, he would show up with the speaker and he'd be like, just don't break it.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was always just like, you know, like it was amazing.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Nick, as well.
Thank you, Mr. Nick, as well. Shout out.
Yeah.
He's teaching. So he teaches music tech. So he's teaching a whole new generation now of
electronic
kids.
music.
And every now and then I'll check in and be like, hey, are there any people that I should keep my eye on or whatever? And you know, there's always the one kid that's like, you know, way into it and really good. Yeah. You were writing tracks and then you're putting them up onto SoundCloud. Yeah.
Didn't something happen with SoundCloud?
Yeah. So they were going through a change in their algorithm for how they basically remove tracks that have copywritten material in them.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of my following had come from doing remix competitions and doing unofficial remixes, and as we know today, that's a big no-no on SoundCloud just because their system, you know, it's gotten better, but at the time
it's flagging stuff that is copywritten.
And at that time, they had put in an algorithm that was extreme. Like if you had 3 strikes, your account was just terminated straight up.
Whoa.
Just taken out. So I had like 20 remixes up. So 20 strikes.
Oh, no.
You're not getting that account back ever. And then I didn't have any kind of pull to, you know, reach out to them because I didn't even have access to the email that I used. Because I opened the SoundCloud when I was like 14.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just some AOL email that I don't even use anymore.
Yeah.
So like trying to dispute it just didn't work, you know?
Right.
So I remember I started the Slushii music thing as like a side project when I was So I started working at Best Buy and I was in college and everything. And
were you still in Jersey at this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to college in New Jersey.
So probably the summer after my senior year, I started the whole Slushii project.
Okay.
As a side thing, because I was like, I kind of want to like do like a cutesy, you know, thing, because I'd been known for like doing dubstep and super hard music.
Yeah.
And I'd started making this really like pretty, you know, like trap, whatever hybrid stuff it was at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll just come up with like a random name, and I just started going through names, and I was like, oh man, like I love sushi, So I'll just be DJ Sushi. And then I looked it up. There's 500 DJ Sushis. And I'm like, oh man, sushi. And every now and then I'll slip up and like pronounce something wrong. So I was like, sushi, slushii. Slushii sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, well, I don't want it to be IE. And I was super into I'd always been into like anime and like Japanese culture, and the word cute in Japanese is kawaii, but it's got 2 eyes at the end.
Oh.
So I was like, what if I take the 2 eyes and it, I had typed it out in all caps, and it just looked good.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it, you know. And then I kind of just like so I had that, and I made the first song. The first Slushii song that I ever made was Destiny, which came out on Brain Freeze, I think.
Okay.
So it's actually out. Like the very first Slushii song I
ever
made
did, you released
probably
it.
like a year or two before. No, yeah, a year before we even released it.
Wow.
So like, you know, I had that name, and then I went to Florida with a friend of mine just for the summer to like just get away, and it was my first time out of New Jersey and all that stuff. And you know, well, it wasn't my first time out of New Jersey, but it was my first time like extended period out of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And that's when I got the email on my phone that like, yo man, your SoundCloud's dead.
Oh.
My computer was at home in Jersey. I couldn't do anything about it until, you know, I got home, and I was just like, dude, like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it was one of those situations where, you know, like Thanos came in, just snapped my SoundCloud away. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna quit music. And my friend was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, don't do that. And we talked about it for a while, and we came to the conclusion that like, you know what, like now would be the perfect time with my knowledge of music now to start fresh, start new, and come up like use that Slushii name.
Yeah.
You know, and start from zero, but with all the knowledge that I have. And it ended up being a blessing in disguise, because my DJ Swoon stuff starts from a certain point where I'm really inexperienced and ends to where Slushii starts.
Okay. Yeah.
And Slushii started with me with all the knowledge that I had back then, culminating into this one thing.
So yeah,
you know?
so you had all the experience, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to start this project now. Essentially.
Essentially,
you know?
yeah. So I get home, and I just make that first few songs, and I'm just like so unsure about everything, you know, and then I think I had like 5 or 6 songs.
And these are all original songs. Like these are So you just
I was
started
like,
writing.
I just dodged remixes.
Right.
And I was just like, I have to write an original EP that's game changing or whatever. And I wrote Destiny, Make Me Feel, which I up until recently had in my set. I wrote a house song that never came out.
Oh wow.
Might come out. You know, maybe, possibly.
Yes, please.
And then there was a 4th song. I think it ended up coming out or something like that. But there was 4 songs. Like usually, like I saw that Knife Party was doing 4-song EPs and stuff. So I was like, I'll just do 4 songs. I would upload them week by week. I had like a format. You know, I had the Slushii logo already.
Okay.
Because over the summer, my friend felt really bad for me, so he's like, listen, I'll try to find you an artist that can draw you the Slushii character and everything. And I'd been talking to a few friends on Facebook, and we ended up getting the preliminary drawings for Slushii.
Wow.
And it was just a sheet of like I have it somewhere. Like it's somewhere in my like Facebook mentions or something, but there's just a sheet of Slushies, just
a bunch of different versions
prototype
of it.
Slushii designs.
Wow.
And there was one that just stood out, and I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. And so then the girl's name is Kai, and she colored it in, and it looked awesome. And then the color scheme I actually got from a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Oh wow.
Because I'm super into Yu-Gi-Oh, and there's a card called Slushii. And it's like pink and blue. And I just love that little gradient look. So
yeah.
Initially he was pink and blue.
Okay.
Just his whole skin, like he didn't have hair or anything. I was like, well, why don't we do pink hair, like a Slushii lid, like he's an actual Slushii monster. He's got the little like oozing thing.
Yeah.
And then we got the logo, and it's the one that we still use today.
That's amazing.
You know, and it felt right.
Yeah.
You know?
It all
felt
just kind of
really
clicked together,
awesome.
and it was.
But then I created a Facebook page before the Slushii stuff came out. Like made the Slushii page with just the text logo, and that text logo is the one that we still use to this day.
Wow.
And it was said Slushii coming soon. Like the very first Slushii page was just like it said Slushii just coming soon.
Uh-huh.
And then we had the logo, and this was when I was doing everything by myself. And every week I would just put out a new song, and then I got an email from my current manager, Moe Shalizi. And you know, like he was just like, "Hey man, I manage Jauz, Marshmello, all these guys, you know. Love to hear some music." And I was like, This is spam. This is
you're
fake.
like, what?
This is not real. Because I had sent Marshmello one of my songs.
Oh, wow.
Was just like, you know, hey man, I have music.
Yeah,
if you want to
just
listen
shot
to
in the
it.
dark. Yeah.
And he ended up telling me later that like he just ignored it because he was like, there had been so many people with food-based names emailing him at the time.
Oh.
That he was just like, oh, who's this Slushii guy? Like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Well, he's probably just getting
Bombarded.
Yeah, bombarded with
Bombarded.
with anything because he was
Especially because that
coming
was
up.
around when the Skrillex stuff happened with like the, you know, Where Are You Now remix. And,
Yeah.
like, it was just this huge, crazy thing. And then I checked Marshmello's SoundCloud managed by Moe Shalizi. So I was like, oh,
Wow.
this is serious. He
Yeah.
wrote the way he formatted the email, like it was just all lowercase.
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's
it's like I'm getting baited by like a Nigerian prince
Yeah,
that
totally.
wants $1 million.
Send money.
Yeah. But it ended up being like a legit thing. So I was like, oh my God. Like, what do I do? So I I hit up my friends at the time who are all like, oh no, like he doesn't want to sign you. He just wants to like scout you out or whatever. So I was like, I went in low expectations, but I had like 30 or 40 songs at that time,
Wow.
like done.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? I have one chance. I'm just going to send him everything. So I
Yeah.
sent everything over to him.
Oh my gosh.
And this is the weekend of Holy Ship. So phone service in Holy Ship is like, just doesn't exist. Not a thing at all.
Yeah.
So weekend of Holy Ship, I'm like hitting him up and I'm like, like what's it?
Yeah.
Have either of you seen the new Spider-Man movie? Far From Home, the one that came out?
No,
is that the
yeah,
one that we watch
Homecoming?
all the time.
Oh yeah.
Homecoming. Yeah.
Do you know the scene in the beginning where he's like texting Tony Stark?
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
100 It was like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
It was
yes.
because I was just like, oh my God, like, you know, I was
like, is
so
he getting these?
overexcited.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if he's getting these texts or not. And then after Holy Ship, he just goes, let's do it.
Wow.
You know, after everybody was like, you know, I'm pretty sure that he's trying, you know, he's not going to sign you or anything. He's just scouting you out and on to the next one. He was just like, let's do this.
Oh my gosh.
So that was just, I went from I think I had 2,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, almost overnight, I think I had like 800,000 plays on we erased everything and we basically redid everything from ground zero again.
He when you got signed to the management company?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's like, all right, we're gonna gut this. I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And he did his thing. And now we're here.
Wow. So
But,
so he just took over, and then like the next day you woke up and you're like,
Dude,
near 1 million plays.
I woke up one day and I was verified on Twitter and I was like,
Oh my god. Yeah, tell me like
that day I was like, yo, it would be so sick to get verified. I think I had like 15,000 followers on Twitter. And I was like, oh man, that would be the coolest thing ever, dude. That would be so sick.
yeah.
And then I woke up one day and I had the blue check mark and I was like,
Wow.
I called Moe and I was like, oh my God, it's real.
That's so
It's
cool.
happening. It's insane because I was still living in New Jersey at the time. Like I didn't even move out to New Jersey until well after my first show, you know. But I remember like so that moment, you know. So we ended up getting Hard Summer booked as my first show, and when I got the text from Moe, I was in a math exam going because I was still in college. I was still like I'd been put in my 2 weeks for my job.
Yes.
My mom was like, "Why would you do that? You don't even know if this is like sustainable." And I was like, "It's sustainable. Trust
like,
me."
Mom, I got a verified check mark.
My grandma was like, "What's a remix?" I'm like, "This is gonna take a long time." But I was in a math exam, and I got a text, and like, you're not supposed to look at your phone during a test, but I was like, looked down, and it was like, "We got hard summer booked." And it's like a good slot at the green tent and everything.
Wow.
So I was like, screw school. Like
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So I raised my hand and I was like, I asked the professor, I was like, "Hey, yo, can I use the bathroom real quick?" And it was like the dead of winter. And she was like, "Yeah, sure. Go ahead." I put my jacket on, my backpack on, and I just walked out of class. I don't want to know how I did on that exam. I think I filled out half the answers, but
oh man.
But in that, I remember like, because my friend Brandon was in a class next to mine, and I texted him. I was like, "Yo, he had a free period," and I was like, "I just dropped out." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "I'm driving home, and I'm done." So literally for the rest, he didn't have class for the rest of the day. It was like the most liberating moment of my entire life. Just because I had been going to class and I was just bombing class. Like I was doing horrible, and I knew that like music was the only thing that I wanted to do. And once all this it was like a movie. Like that whole day I was just so like, dude, you know what? We should just drive an hour out of town and just, go on a road trip or something, because I was just like, I don't have to go to school anymore. I don't have to work at Best Buy anymore.
Yeah.
I could provide for my family, and all of this stuff just happens so quickly. And, it's a feeling that like I'll never forget, that day when all that stuff happened. And, and it's crazy too, because a lot of people thought that, in the very beginning that I had bought my way to hard summer, which doesn't make any sense because
how would you?
I was so lower middle class that like I was probably making, I made, I think probably like $400-500 biweekly at Best Buy.
Oh my gosh.
So, which I was living in my mom's house, but like,
after taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
I obviously bought my way to the top from Best Buy, to make it very clear. But that was just like, that grace period before playing my first show was probably the happiest, I'd ever been, just because it was like, it was like a true graduation. My high school graduation was cool, but like this was like a life graduation. Like I get to have a career now, and it happened so early that like, I'm still getting adjusted to it today.
I can imagine.
But
yeah, you just kind of turned into this new project, and then out of nowhere you get this email from this massive manager, and you're like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like, "Yeah, we just booked you on this."
And I was
huge
like, "Oh,
festival."
you're serious?
You're like,
"What?" I was kind of like, "Oh, that's cool," and then I was like, "Oh, you're serious?"
Yeah.
I think the moment that it kind of like it dialed in for me was he flew me out to LA. I met Marshmello. We got in the studio, and so I did the Skrillex Killer remix. Then I go home. The moment where I like was just like I like senses to 1,000 was when I get a call and it's Moe, and he's like, "Hey, I got Skrillex on the line here. He wants to talk about releasing the Killer remix." And I was like, "Okay, wait, hold on."
Like,
First
what?
of all, it's 3 a.m. Second of all, Skrillex is on the phone. So I was like freaking out and everything, and we ended up working out a release plan for it, and that was like just so many like if I think back to my senior year in high school, I had probably 2 dreams. One was going to Japan. One was just playing a show.
Yeah.
I think we did 310 shows last year. I went to Japan 7 times last year.
Oh my gosh.
And in my senior year of high school, like I was going to save up with a bunch of friends to go once in my life.
Yeah.
I was gonna, You know, I had my plan B was my plan A. It was to work as a you know, helping hand / intern at a studio, because I went to like the Grammy Association's camp that they have.
Oh wow, I didn't know if they had one.
Yeah, I didn't know they had
it's
that
awesome.
either. That's really
awesome.
cool.
It's amazing for like up and coming artists too, because you learn so much about the business, and you like they have panels and everything, and you know, my mom signed me up for that, like just praying like, oh, I hope he gets in, and then you know, I ended up getting in both years that I went, and I learned so much, and I met so many great people, and you know, that was just it's crazy to think now looking back that like I was gonna go to Japan once. You know, just as like a, you know,
just to go as a tourist.
We've never
as just
been.
a tourist, you know. And I've
amazing.
been there probably 15 times in just 2 years.
That's crazy.
You know, which is just I'm just thankful every day, you know, that I get to wake up and, you know, everybody has off days, but you know, that I get to wake up and just
do what you love.
Do what I love, you know. It's amazing.
That is so cool.
Yeah, your music brings like joy to everybody too. It's like happy music, and your body can just feel it.
I feel it in my bones.
I do.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists then?
Make a vision board.
Really?
I made a vision board.
I was actually going to bring that up when you were talking, when you were like, I only had, you know, a plan B, but you made a vision board.
I made one as like a joke. And it was like, I wrote down the craziest stuff I could think of, like, you know, get 50,000 followers, play a festival, get verified, release on Monster Cat, you know, meet Skrillex, you know, release an Owsla. And in that, I wrote it at January, the very beginning of January that year. And the month after that, Moe emailed me.
Wow.
That same year I met Skrillex for the first time. Same year I released like I hit every single goal. So I printed out 2. I put one in my room so that and I think I taped it to either my ceiling or, you know, the wall
so you
beside my bed. So I
it.
saw it every time I woke up.
Yeah.
And then I was producing music in the garage. So there was like, it was like this IKEA like
we have plenty
setup.
of those.
And then my monitor was here, and then the vision board thing, it was just a piece of paper.
Wow.
And I just made another one for this year because I think, you know, it's something about, you know, seeing it. A lot of people kind of get very calculated with like, how am I going to get here? Like, you don't have to worry about how you're going to get there. You just have to know that you want to get there, you know, because I shot for the stars, you know, not knowing how in the world those connections were going to be made. But I think it's something about putting those goals out into the universe and kind of, you know, making it known to yourself, like saying something rather than thinking it, I think is so much more powerful than keeping it internal, because once you say it, it becomes a thing.
It becomes real.
It becomes real.
Yeah.
You know? So you don't know. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I just wrote all the things that I aspired for, and somehow, some way, maybe whether it was through seeing it every day and being determined, or some kind of destiny or fate or whatever you want to call it, you know, those lines connected for me, you know? And I believe that, you know, if you want to, you know, be a musician or a filmmaker or a fashion designer or anything, like all my friends now have their own dreams. Just because I'm pushing, you know, I'm trying to, you know, get them to, you know, all my friends have vision boards now.
That's
you know,
awesome.
my roommate, you know, we split. We have a split vision board now, and he wrote his vision board out, and I was like, no, but like, what do you want though? Like, he just wrote like, you know, get A's in all my classes and stuff. I was like, no, but like, what do you really want? So he wrote like, you know, get a Mercedes, and like, you know, like just crazy outlandish goals to the normal person, but like, it's crazy how, you know, attainable those goals can be if you really kind of visualize them and just really get determined, you know?
Yeah.
That's just, it's crazy. I still have my vision board at home from 2016. Just
I would never get rid of that if I were you. I was going to ask you too. Did you ever print that email that you got originally from Moe?
I have it. I could probably pull it up.
Well, I was just wondering because that'd be something I would
frame it.
Frame in my house.
So all lowercase email.
I'd be like, yeah, that's the moment my entire life changed.
Moment my entire life changed. Moe. I'm gonna scroll back to the Moe Shalizi song. I wrote a song for his birthday.
Oh wow!
It's like a rap song. Oh, is this it? This is
That's
January 30th. Okay, yeah, no, I found it. Okay, January 30th, 2016. It says.
Oh my gosh!
It's all lowercase. Yo, man, I managed Jauz, Marshmello, Ookay, and a few others, and stumbled upon your music. Would love to hear some more stuff. Can you send me some music?
Wow.
But like the way it's formatted, I was like, oh, this is obviously spam.
I like the intro, yo man.
Yeah, yo man, lowercase.
You know, and then I just ended up sending everything, you know. But it's still to this day surreal, you know. Like I still think of that was my tour manager probably stubbing his toe.
Whoops. Well, hopefully he's okay.
Hopefully he's okay.
I know that feeling.
God, I tried to sign on my toe a few months ago.
So how's it doing?
Oh, well, I mean the toenail fell off, but it grew back.
Hers fell off.
I'm in that process.
Hasn't quite grown back yet.
wait. So how did it happen to you?
It's kind of really sad, but I'm not used to exercise or walking or anything. So we went to Disney World for the first time for 6 days straight walking. Yeah. By like day 4, I got, this is gross, bubbles under my big toenails on both feet. And our 11-year-old filmed me like popping.
No way!
It would totally go viral.
It's trending now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, and surprisingly, I thought that they would stay, but our 3-year-old stepped on my foot the other week, and it just came off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No nail under it.
Wow. Well, I think the nail will grow back.
Yeah. It's refreshing. It feels better. It's nothing like, in my way. But the other one, it's gonna.
Well, at least you were at Disneyland when it happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was just opening. I had ordered a street sign from my hometown.
That's cool.
Metal street signs. But I ordered 2 of them, and I didn't know. I forgot in the moment that I ordered 2, and my mom was visiting, and I go to open the box, and she goes, "Yo, didn't you buy 2?" And then that moment, the second one drops down and jackknifes my toe. And I like as she's saying like, "Yo, didn't you order 2 signs?" It just drops, and then I'm like, "Oh my God!" So like, toe immediately turned black.
Oh my gosh!
And yeah, so no, in Japan, I actually ripped the nail off. It's gross. But now it
feels good.
But
right?
there was another nail. I had left it for probably like a few months, and there was just a nail underneath.
Yeah, I think yours will grow back.
Adam claims that he sees that there's another nail there, but yeah, I want to rip that one off.
Just go ahead.
Let's do it.
Right on. Well, man, you have an incredible story. I must say, like that is so crazy that that all just kind of. It all fell in place exactly how not how you visioned it, but how like everything you wanted, pretty much just in one way or another. Yeah, kind of worlds collided and it all came together, and that's so amazing, man.
But I mean, I think I'm here to kind of bridge the gap for others that are kind of feeling the same way, you know, because again. Another Spider-Man reference. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
Heck yeah.
I was actually talking yesterday about how I dressed as Spider-Man for 3 years straight for Halloween.
That's great.
My mom just kept buying me the costume.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you could be other people. And I'm like, I know.
I want to be Spider-Man.
I know, but I want to be Spider-Man. There was, I saw Into the Spider-Verse, which is the animated Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And there's a line in it that I tell everybody now, I said it earlier about it being a leap of faith.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. If you think about it, it's like, I didn't know if this was going to work.
Yeah.
So I just had to kind of push myself off that ledge, metaphorically,
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
and just get myself into that world, because I had always been really afraid of taking risks, and the biggest risk I ever took was music, and
Now you're here.
it's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Can you imagine going back now and telling your like high school, middle school self, like, hey, at one point, the next 5 years, you're gonna be touring the country and you're gonna have been to Japan 15 times, like.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would do that, but I like the chain of events, the chain of like
Okay.
surprise.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing. I don't think, just because if I told myself, I'd be like, it's kind of like giving yourself a cheat code, to
For
a
sure.
video game. It just
Yeah.
becomes super easy, and you're like, well, I don't need to care about anything.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to go through those hardships to kind of, become who I am.
Yeah.
So if I would have told myself, hey, in 5 years, like as a freshman, like you're going to become famous, I would just,
You're
be a
like,
complete,
you're like, oh, well,
jerk to
then.
everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
You'll
that,
see in 5 years,
I
I'm
had
gonna
to, go through that
Uh-huh.
to kind of, because I feel like it wouldn't have happened had I grown up any other way.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just one of those specific kind of things where it's like a puzzle. All these pieces had to come into place to create what is happening now.
Yeah, and what I love about your story too is it wasn't like, oh well, I was at the right place at the right time. It was like, no, you did like so much. I mean, you can't be at the right place at the right time if you don't have the talent, but you had your stuff out there, and the management came to you and was like, hey, I represent all these huge names in this style of music, and I want to hear your stuff.
But I will say that, there were a lot of times where I was like, I'm so ready. And I really wasn't.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times where, I got very cocky and was just like, yeah, like, I'm ready to tour now.
Right.
But then it was when I stopped trying and put my head down for a good year and was just working on my production that it came to me, like when I was actively trying. I think with a lot of things in life, when you think you're ready, at least in my experience, when I thought I was ready, I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But when
Yes.
others, when you get that call, I think that's the moment when you
Yeah.
when you got it.
Bringing it backwards.